But the believer, Allah will give you in this world also, and Allah will give you in the akhirat. Hassan radiallahu anhu, the grandson of Nabi alayhi salam, mounted onto a beautiful conveyance and is riding with a swift pace. In comes a Yahud. He looks at him and he says, Hassan, but aren't you the grandson of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam? He says, yes. But didn't your grandfather say that the world is a jail for the believer and it is paradise for the disbeliever? Look at me in torn and tattered clothes. I don't have a conveyance. You are the believer. You are mounted on a beautiful conveyance. Hassan radiallahu anhu gave what a beautiful example. He says, yes, oh my friend, let me tell you what the joy and the bliss and the happiness that I'm experiencing in comparison to what my Lord has prepared for me in Jannah. This is a jail. And the agony and the stress and the depression and the tension that you are going through, in comparison, I haven't got time to open up the torment and the punishment of the disbeliever in Akhirat. One time will pass on the dweller of Jahannam, and that they will decide to exercise patience in Jahannam. And what will they say? That we noticed and observed in the world, when a man had to serve a penalty, if he was, a good person, he was a good prisoner, he did not violate the laws of the cell and the jail, then his penalty would be reduced. Let's implement that theory, and let's not scream and ask to be taken out. Let's be patient. Who knows? By being patient and soft and gentle and passive, perhaps we could be removed from Jahannam. After years, one day of which is, the Quran says, كَأَلْفِ سَنَةٍ, equivalent to 100,000 years. Years in this manner will lapse with no one to respond to them. After that, the kafir will say, سَوَاءٌ عَلَيْنَا أَجَزِعْنَا أَمْ صَبَرْنَا مَا لَنَا مِن مَحِيصٍ. سَوَاءٌ عَلَيْنَا أَجَزِعْنَا أَمْ صَبَرْنَا. Whether you squeal or you observe silence, there's nobody to respond to your plea. So what you are going through is paradise in comparison to what you will go through on the day of Qiyamah. What does Allah promise? Good action. فَلَنُحْيِيَنَّهُ حَيَاةً طَيِّبًا. Allah promises a good life, a happy life, a blissful life. The very big question that everybody needs to know at this time, and perhaps the world in its entirety, is, Maulana, can you kindly define a good life? What is a good life? Generally understood as a healthy life and a wealthy life. What's a good life? A healthy life and a wealthy life. If you have that too, you have a good life. This is the foolish concept of many people, and this is how many of us define good life. But if we study Quran and Hadith, then we will realize that a good life is not necessarily, at times yes, it could be a healthy life and it could be a wealthy life. It could be a healthy life and it could be a wealthy life at times, but not at always. For the simple reason that Allah promises a good life when Iman and Amal Salihah is found. Every one of us unanimously will agree that Iman and Amal Salihah cannot be found of a higher degree in the galaxy of Anbiya and Sahaba. Nobody could excel them in these two qualities. Yet when we assess the life of these chosen servants of Allah, we don't find healthy lives and we don't find wealthy lives. Understand what is being said. Allah promises a good life. The general interpretation of a good life is a healthy life and a wealthy life. On what two conditions? Iman and Amal Salihah. Iman and Amal Salihah was found to the highest level in the galaxy of prophets and in the noble companions of our Master Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And if anybody was deserving of that good life, then it was those people. However, when we assess the lives of Anbiya alayhi salatu wassalam, then respected brothers and elders, Ayyub alayhi salam, whom the Quran says, Inna wajadnahu sabira, ni'mal abdu innahu awwab. Allah testifies that Ayyub is a wonderful man. He's a beautiful person. He turns to me constantly. He has patience and tolerance. Allah Rabbul Izzat tested Ayyub alayhi salatu wassalam. Then he lost his children. He lost his farms. He lost his belongings. He had to be separated from society. One day his wife told him and implored him, Oh Ayyub, why not you invoke your Lord and ask him now to take away these difficulties and substitute it with prosperity. Ayyub alayhi salam teared and he said, Allahu Akbar. My Lord gave me 80 years of prosperity. Let 80 years of difficulty pass and then perhaps I have the rights to ask my Allah. When it comes to poverty, which we rule out, if a man is poor, he has a bad life. If a man is wealthy, he has a good life. But go to these very wealthy people. Wallah, don't be deceived by that false smiles on their faces. If you go in those hearts and those homes, it's hollow. There's no happiness, there's no bliss, there's no joy between husband and wife, between father and son. They are devoid of divine bliss. And happiness, bliss, joy, as I will explain now, is something that is inspired. It cannot be purchased. With regards to poverty, just take the example of Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam, that he's sitting and the color of his face has turned pale. Ka'b ibn Ujra radiallahu anhu walks in. He noticed symptoms of hunger manifesting on the face of Nabi alayhi salam. Without saying a word, he excuses himself. He goes and he works for someone. He gets in lieu some dates. He rushes and he comes back to Nabi alayhi salam, presents it before Nabi alayhi salam, greets him and then smiles. Nabi alayhi salam realized the reaction of Ka'b because of the hunger of Nabi alayhi salam. He looked at him and he said, Awa tuhibbuni ya Ka'b? Oh Ka'b, do you love me? He said, by Allah, I love you, O Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, Unzur ma taqul. Oh Ka'b, that statement is not easy. Think and ponder and reflect. To claim love to me will demand much from you. Ponder what you are saying, O Ka'b. He looks into his heart. He says, I swear by the grandeur of my Allah, I love you, O my Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, In kunta sadiqa. If you are so honest in the claim that you make, فَأَعِدَّ لِلْفَقْرِ تِجْفَافًا. Then prepare yourself for poverty. لَلْفَقْرُ أَسْرَعْ إِلَى مَنْ يُحِبُّنِي مِنَ السَّيْلِ إِلَى مُنْتَهَاهُ. Verily, poverty, sickness, calamity, adverse condition comes faster to those who love me than water rolls down a slope. So that makes us understand that a good life for every one of us that desires, it's not necessary a healthy life and a wealthy life. Then the $1 million question is, what is a good life? Maulana, define a good life under the commentary of this verse. And then another ayat, let me link this up. The concluding verses of Surah Maryam. وَمَنْ أَعْرَضَ عَنْ ذِكْرِي فَإِنَّ لَهُ مَعِيشَةً ضَنْكَ. Allah says that person who turns his back to my remembrance, I will give him a life narrowed upon him. وَنَحْشُرُهُ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ أَعْمَى. And I will raise him blind on the day of Qiyamah. He will stand up from his grave, objecting on my decision. قَالَ رَبِّ لِمَا حَشَرْتَنِي أَعْمَى. Oh my Lord, have you perchance made a mistake that you have risen me blind? وَقَدْ كُنْتُ بَصِيرًا. I was among those who could see in this world. Allah will answer in this objection of his. قَالَ كَذَلِكَ أَتَتْكَ آيَاتُنَا فَنَسِيتَهَا وَكَذَلِكَ الْيَوْمَ تُنْسَى. You acted blind before my commandments. Today we are going to leave you with no one to listen to you. Is then a good life? 2